Jason Blake was a volunteer medic stationed at the edge of human space. He was used to quiet days, routine checkups, and the occasional mining injury. Life on the frontier was slow, and Jason liked it that way. But everything changed the moment the distress beacon came in. It was early morning when his scanner picked up the signal. Faint, but repeating. He adjusted the frequency, cleaned the receiver, and tried again. It was real. An emergency call, not from a human vessel, but something unknown. Without waiting for orders, Jason suited up, grabbed his medical kit, and launched his small scout ship toward the signal. The source was an alien ship, large and dark, resting in the shadow of a frozen moon. It looked damaged. Deep scars ran across its hull, and part of it was still smoking. As Jason approached, his heart beat faster. He had never seen anything like it. He docked carefully, locked his helmet, and entered through the emergency airlock. Inside was silent. The halls were dim, filled with thin smoke and flickering lights. He moved slowly, scanning for life. His tracker beeped faintly. One life form, weak and fading. He followed the signal to a large chamber. There, slumped against the wall, was the alien. She was tall, at least 7 feet, with silver-gray skin and long dark hair braided in tight loops. Her armor was broken, and blood, a glowing violet liquid, poured from her side. Her eyes opened slightly when he stepped closer. "Help," she said, her voice deep and strange. Jason knelt beside her. Her pulse was weak. He tried a med patch, but her skin rejected it. He reached for a scanner and ran it over her body. The results were troubling. Her blood pressure was crashing. None of his supplies were compatible. She needed a transfusion. But there was no one else. He looked at the woman. She was a warrior, clearly. Strong, proud even now, but she was dying. Jason made a choice. He opened his kit and pulled out a needle. He had studied xenobiology in training. Human blood had never been used in a case like this, but maybe it could help. He drew his own blood and used a microfilter to remove any harmful proteins. Then carefully, he connected the line to her. The fluid began to flow. For a few moments, nothing happened. Then her breathing grew steadier. Her fingers twitched. The glow of her skin dimmed, and then brightened again, steadier this time. Jason sat back, his hands shaking. She opened her eyes fully. "You gave me life," she whispered. He smiled a little. "You're welcome. Just hang on. Help will come." She nodded weakly. "Kaylira, my name. I'm Jason. You're safe now, Kaylira." He stayed with her as hours passed. He monitored her signs, gave her water, and spoke softly when she stirred. Slowly, she regained strength. She told him about the battle, how her ship was ambushed, her crew scattered. She had fought alone until the ship drifted and crashed. She had thought she would die alone, but Jason had found her. When a large Darnek ship arrived later that day, they found their champion alive and sitting beside a human. At first, they were suspicious, but Kaylira spoke for him. She explained everything, how Jason had risked his life, how he had saved hers when no one else could. The Darnak warriors looked at him with unreadable expressions. Jason stood quietly, unsure what to say. Kaylira turned to him. Her eyes were brighter now, glowing softly. "There is a bond now," she said. "Your blood and mine. It is the accord. You have given part of your soul to me." Jason blinked. "I was just doing what I could." "You have done more than you know." They took Kaylira aboard their ship. She refused to let Jason leave alone. The leader of the warriors, an elder named Goran, spoke to him directly. "You will come with us, human. Our champion has chosen." Jason looked at Kaylira. She nodded once. He did not understand all that was happening, but something told him this was only the beginning. He followed them onto the ship, unsure where it would lead, but knowing deep down that his life had changed forever. The door closed behind him. The stars outside shifted, and the journey began. The alien ship moved through space with a quiet hum. Jason sat in a room that felt both strange and elegant. The walls were made of smooth black metal that shimmered with a soft light. It wasn't like anything human. You could feel the ship's energy in the floor, a gentle pulse, like a heartbeat. Kaylira rested nearby on a wide seat that looked like a throne. Her wounds had closed. The strange glowing lines on her skin had changed. They were brighter, and they moved slowly, like they were alive. Jason noticed that her eyes, once dark and sharp, were now warmer when they looked at him. "You are healing." "Fast," Jason said softly. "Your blood did more than heal," Kaylira answered. "It changed me," Jason frowned. "Changed you?" "My body is adapting. Your blood did not harm me. It made me stronger." Jason had no answer to that. He was just glad she was alive. A young Darnak warrior entered the room. He wore red armor and had a serious face. He looked at Jason, then at Kaylira. "The elders wish to see you," he said. Kaylira stood. She turned to Jason. "You must come too." Jason stood slowly. He followed her through the halls of the ship. Other Darnak warriors watched him with curiosity and quiet whispers. No human had ever walked these halls. Jason felt out of place, but Kaylira walked beside him with pride. They entered a large chamber where 6 elders sat in a circle. Their robes were long and their eyes were sharp. One of them, the oldest, had skin that shone like stone. He looked at Jason with calm but firm eyes. "You are the human who gave his blood to our champion," the elder said. Jason nodded. "Yes, sir. She was dying. I had to try." The elder leaned forward. "You understand what you have done?" Jason hesitated. "I saved a life. That's all." Kaylira spoke. "He did more than that. His blood bonded with mine. It is the accord." There was silence in the room. The elders looked at each other. Another elder spoke. "The accord is sacred. It has never happened between our kind and another." Jason felt nervous. "What does it mean?" The old elder replied, "It means your lives are connected now. What happens to one will affect the other. It is rare. It is powerful. And it is not always safe." Jason looked at Kaylira. She was calm, strong. "I don't regret it," he said. The elders whispered to each other again. Then the old one said, "Then you must come with us to our world." Jason didn't know what to say. He had never planned anything like this, but Kaylira nodded once. "I will not go without him," she said. So the decision was made. The ship changed course. Jason sat quietly in his room later that day, looking out a small window. The stars moved slowly. His thoughts were busy. He remembered Earth, his small home, the quiet medical station, the simple life he had known. Now he was on an alien ship, heading to a world no human had seen. He had made a choice without knowing the cost. Kaylira entered the room. She moved with ease now, her strength back. "You are troubled," she said. Jason gave a small smile. "A little. I didn't think giving blood would lead to this." She sat beside him. "In our culture, the accord is rare and honored. You gave without fear. That is not weakness. That is strength." He looked at her. "Do you feel different? Inside, I mean." She nodded. "Yes, I feel your emotions sometimes. Small things, worry, calm, even kindness. It is new to me." Jason looked down at his hands. "What happens next?" Kaylira was quiet for a moment. "We show you to my people. We tell them the truth. Some will accept, some will not, but I will stand by you." Jason felt a strange mix of fear and peace. He didn't know the future, but he knew this. He had done the right thing. Outside the ship, the stars continued to shine. The journey to the Darnak homeworld had begun. Jason knew he was no longer just a medic. He was part of something much bigger. And it all began with one simple act, the gift of his blood. The Darnak homeworld came into view, a large blue planet with rings that glowed in space. Jason stood near the window and stared. He had seen pictures of alien planets before, but this was real. The ship slowed as it entered the upper layers of the atmosphere. He felt nervous. He didn't know what to expect. Kalira stood beside him. Her armor was polished now, and she looked stronger than ever. But her voice was calm. "We will land soon," she said. "Do not fear. I will be with you." Jason gave a weak smile. "That helps. A lot." The ship landed on a large platform surrounded by high towers and strange trees. Warriors and leaders waited there, dressed in different colors and symbols. Some looked curious, others serious. None of them looked friendly. Jason followed Kalira down the ramp. The air was cool and the ground beneath him hummed. He noticed that the gravity was a little heavier, but not too hard to manage. A tall warrior stepped forward. His face had deep lines and his armor was dark green. He looked at Kalira, then at Jason. "You bring a human," he said. "Why?" "He saved." Kalira answered. "We are bonded." The warrior's face did not change. "We shall see." Jason was taken to a special place in the city, a tall building made of glass-like stone. The inside was peaceful, with soft lights and strange music that came from the walls. It was not a prison, but it felt like one. He was told he would be tested. The next day, Kalira came to him. She looked serious. "They want you to go through the Gaethor trials," she said. Jason blinked. "What is that?" "It is an old tradition. To prove worth, outsiders must face 3 challenges: the test of mind, the test of spirit, and the test of body." Jason sighed. "And if I fail?" "They may not allow you to stay, or worse." Jason nodded. "Then I'll do my best." The first trial was the test of mind. Jason was brought to a room with glowing stones and shifting puzzles. He had to find patterns, make decisions, and solve problems. It lasted for hours. At first, he struggled, but then he found calm. He used logic, memory, and patience. The watchers seemed surprised by his progress. The second trial was the test of spirit. He was taken to a dark cave and left alone. Strange sounds filled the air. Visions came to him, memories, fears, doubts. He saw himself failing, saw Earth being rejected. He felt fear. But he remembered Kalira's words. "Do not fear. I will be with you." He took a deep breath and focused on what mattered. Kindness, courage, truth. The visions faded. Light returned. He walked out of the cave, tired but still standing. The final test was the hardest, the test of body. He was placed in a wide ring surrounded by warriors. A large Darnak fighter stepped forward. He was taller than Kalira and much stronger. Jason had no weapons. "You cannot win," the fighter said. Jason nodded. "I'm not here to win. I'm here to prove I won't give up." The fight began. Jason moved quickly, dodging as best he could. He got hit more than once, but he always got up. He used his mind to stay alive, ducking, rolling, finding small chances to push back. The fight lasted longer than anyone expected. When it ended, Jason stood, blood on his face, breathing hard. But he was still there. The crowd was silent. Then Kalira stepped forward. "He has passed," she said. "He has shown mind, spirit, and strength." One by one, the elders nodded. That night, a quiet celebration was held. Jason sat beside Kalira, his body aching but his heart full. "I didn't think I could do it," he said. Kalira looked at him with pride. "You did more than prove yourself. You showed them what no human has shown before. You earned their respect." Jason looked up at the stars through the open roof. He had come far from home, but maybe this was where he was meant to be. He had offered his blood, and now, step by step, he was becoming something more in the eyes of an entire world. The next few days on the Darnak homeworld were peaceful. Jason stayed in a guest room that overlooked silver rivers and glowing trees. The world was quiet at night, and the sky was always full of stars. He was beginning to feel at ease. Kalira visited often. They talked, laughed, and sometimes walked through the gardens together. She showed him places where warriors trained and where elders gathered. But not everyone was happy in the deep parts of the city. A group of older warriors met in secret. They wore dark armor and carried old weapons. They believed in the old ways. To them, Jason was a threat. A human had no place in their traditions. The bond between him and Kaelira was a shame to their honor. One of them, a bitter warrior named Korvik, spoke to the group. He must be removed, quietly. If Kaelira protects him, then we remove her too. Back at the guest house, Jason was feeling more confident. He helped in the medical center, learning more about Darnak biology and sharing human healing methods. Some of the younger healers liked him. They called him the Brave One. One evening, Kaelira brought him to a gathering inn, the Hall of Unity. It was a place where young warriors and elders shared stories. Jason was invited to speak. He stood in front of the group and talked about Earth, about kindness, and how helping someone in need should never depend on species. His words were simple, but they came from the heart. When he finished, many clapped, their hands in the Darnak way, but Korvik was there, watching from the shadows. Later that night, as Jason walked back alone, he felt something strange. The path was too quiet. He turned a corner and stopped. 3 warriors blocked the way. Their faces were hard, their weapons sharp. "You are not welcome here," one said. Jason raised his hands. "I don't want trouble. You brought it with your blood." They moved in fast. Jason tried to run, but they were too fast. He fell, a sharp pain in his side. Then everything went dark when he woke up. He was in a healing pod. The air smelled clean. Kaelira stood beside him, her face pale with worry. "You were attacked," she said. "They tried to kill you." Jason winced. "Who?" "Old ones. They want the past, not the future." He looked at her. "They hurt you too." Kaelira's voice was cold now. "No, but they will pay." She stood and walked out. Jason tried to get up, but the healers stopped him. "You need to rest," one said. Outside, Kaelira went to the council hall. Her voice was loud. "This cannot go on. He saved my life. He passed the trials. He showed honor. And now he is attacked like an enemy." Some elders agreed with her. Others stayed silent. Korvik stood at the back, arms crossed. "The Accord is dangerous," he said. "It changes us. It weakens tradition." "It strengthens us," Kaelira replied. "Look at me. I am stronger, wiser. I have learned more from him in days than from you in years." The hall grew quiet. That night, guards were placed outside Jason's room. Kaelira stayed close. Jason asked, "Why do they fear change so much?" "Because they are afraid to lose control," she said. "You are not just a human. You are a symbol now." Jason didn't know what to say. He had come to save a life. Now his own life was caught in something much bigger. The next morning, messages spread through the city. Some supported Kaelira, others backed Korvik. A quiet tension grew. Young warriors began to choose sides. Jason knew this wasn't over. He had survived the trials, earned trust, and even made friends. But now he had to face something harder, the fear of change. He looked at Kaelira. "What happens next?" She held his hand. "We fight, not with weapons, but with truth." Outside, the sun rose over the glowing trees. A storm was coming. But Jason was no longer just a visitor. He was part of the story now, and he would not back down. Jason was healing slowly. The wound on his side still hurt, but the Darnak healer said he would be strong again soon. Kaelira stayed close, always watching over him. Her face showed worry, but also something else. Anger. News spread across the city. Some warriors were angry about the attack on Jason. Others said it was a warning. The Darnak people were beginning to take sides. The elders met every day, but they had no answer. Fear was growing. Kaelira visited Jason one morning with a serious look on her face. "There will be a gathering today," she said. "The elders will speak. They want to calm the people. But Korvik and his group have planned something. Jason sat up slowly. What do you mean? They will try to use the gathering to speak against you. They want to break the accord. Jason nodded. Then I have to speak too. I can't stay silent. Kaelira placed a hand on his shoulder. You must be careful. Later that day, the Hall of Echoes was filled with Darnak warriors, citizens, and leaders. The large space was quiet as the elders stepped forward. Korvik was among them. His eyes met Jason's with cold fire. One elder began to speak. We are here to speak of unity, but also of fear. A human lives among us. Some say he brings danger. Others say he brings change. We must decide. Korvik took a step forward. He is not one of us. He has not lived our ways. He weakens our people. His blood is a poison. There were whispers in the crowd. Kaelira stood quickly. He saved me. He risked his life when no one else would. My strength today is because of him. His blood did not poison me. It gave me life. Korvik sneered. You are blind. Jason stepped forward. His side still hurt, but his voice was clear. I didn't come here to fight. I didn't come to change your people. I came because someone needed help. That's what humans do. We help, even if it's hard, even if we don't understand. You looked around the hall. I may be different, but I have tried to learn. I respect your ways. I don't want to replace them. I only want peace. The crowd was silent. Then someone clapped. Another joined. Soon more followed. But not all. Korvik turned and walked out, his followers behind him. His face showed rage. That night, Kaelira warned Jason to stay close. They may try again. We must be ready. She was right. In the dark hours, Korvik and his followers entered the healing center. Their plan was simple in Jason, end the accord. But Kaelira was waiting. She stood alone in the hall, her eyes glowing. You will not touch him, she said. Korvik stepped forward. You are no longer one of us. Kaelira raised her blade. I am more Darnak than you ever were. I protect the future. The fight was fast and brutal. Kaelira moved with speed and skill. She fought with power that surprised even Korvik. Her body had changed since the accord. She was stronger than ever. Jason heard the noise and came out limping. He saw Kaelira fall, hit hard by a blow. Blood marked her arm. Without thinking, Jason rushed to her. He dropped beside her, pulled out his medkit, and reached for a vial of his own blood. No, she whispered. I have to, he said. He injected a small amount into her wound. It glowed. Her eyes flashed. She stood again. The other warriors stepped back. They had never seen anything like it. Kaelira pointed at them. Leave now, or face the new strength of the accord. They ran. Jason sat on the floor, breathing hard. That was close. Kaelira helped him up. You saved me again. You saved me too. The next day the elders met again. This time, they spoke with unity. The accord is not a weakness, the oldest elder said. It is a new path. Jason Blake, you are welcome among us. Not as a guest, but as one of our own. Jason felt something heavy lift from his heart. He smiled. Kaelira stood beside him. The people bowed. The city was quiet again, but Jason knew this was not the end. A new chapter had begun, one with hope, one with change. And it all started with one simple gift, his blood. The days after the attack were full of change. Jason no longer walked the halls with fear. Darnak warriors greeted him with respect. Some even asked him questions about Earth. He answered with a smile and simple words. He was still healing, but he felt stronger each day. Kaelira stayed near. She trained with other warriors and worked with the healers. Her power had grown since the accord, and many noticed it. Young warriors began to follow her example. They wanted to be strong, but also wise. But not everyone had changed. Korvik and his followers had vanished into the wild lands beyond the city. There were rumors that they were building something, a camp, maybe even an army. They were angry. And they wanted revenge. One morning, a message came from a village far from the capital. It said that Korvik's group had taken control and forced the people to follow the old ways. The elders met and talked for hours. Finally, they asked Kaylira for help. She agreed. But she also had one condition. Jason comes with me, she said. Elders were unsure. He is not trained for battle. He is not a soldier, Kaylira said. But he is the reason this change began. The people must see him. Jason heard the news and packed right away. He was ready. They left in a small ship, along with a few trusted warriors. The trip was quiet. Jason watched the world below green hills, glowing rivers, strange animals. He had never seen a place so beautiful. When they landed near the village, they saw signs of trouble. Walls had been built. Old Darnek flags waved in the wind. A few villagers were outside, looking scared. Kaylira stepped forward. We are not here to fight, she said loudly. We are here to speak. One of Korvik's men came out. He had a scar across his face and held a weapon. Go back. We follow the true path. Jason stepped beside Kaylira. We only want peace. The man laughed. You? A human? You should never have come. That night, Kaylira met with the villagers in secret. They were tired. They didn't want more war. Many remembered how Jason had saved her. They remembered the story of the Accord. Will you help us? One villager asked. Kaylira looked at Jason. He nodded. Yes, she said. But only if you are ready. The next morning, the people stood together. They faced Korvik's warriors without fear. Kaylira spoke first. You use fear to control. That is not the Darnak way. The true path is honor, not hate. Korvik came out of the village center. His eyes were full of rage. You speak of honor, but you stand with a human. Jason stepped forward. I may be different, but I care. I gave my blood to save a life, and I will give more if I must. Some of Korvik's followers looked uneasy. They whispered to each other. Kaylira raised her hand. This ends today. Join us, or leave this place. A few warriors threw down their weapons. They walked away. Others followed. Corvi, Ek shouted, You will all fall. But he was alone now. The villagers moved forward. They took back their homes. Kaylira did not harm Korvik. She let him go into the wild lands. You no longer have power here, she said. Later, Jason sat on a stone by the river. Kaylira joined him. You were brave, she said. I was scared, he replied. But you still stood beside me. That is what matters. They watched the water for a while. The village behind them was alive again. Children laughed. Fires burned gently. Peace had returned. Do you think the others will follow this path too? Jason asked. Kaylira nodded. They will, in time. The Accord is not just about blood. It is about trust. About choosing a better way. Jason looked up at the stars. He knew the journey wasn't over. But something deep inside told him this was. Right. This was the future. He smiled. Let's keep walking it. Together. Kaylira smiled too. Always. Weeks passed after the village was freed. More and more people heard what happened. They heard how Kaylira stood up to the old ways. They heard how a human stood with her and spoke of peace. The story spread across the planet like fire on dry. Grass, soon other villages began to change too. Elders who once followed the old rules started to listen. Young warriors trained with new purpose. Some even began to study human knowledge. A few brave ones asked to visit Earth. Back in the capital city, Jason and Kaylira were welcomed home like heroes. A great gathering was called. Warriors, leaders, and even young students filled the Grand Plaza. It was the largest gathering in. Darnik Memory. The High Elder stood before them and raised his hand. Today we honor two who showed us another way. Kaylira, the warrior who chose a new path. Jason Blake, the human who gave without asking for anything. Jason stood beside Kaylira, still not used to all the eyes. He wasn't a leader or a fighter. But people listened when he spoke. And so he spoke. I came here because someone needed help. I didn't know what would happen. I didn't plan to change anything. But something beautiful happened. We became friends. We built trust. We found strength together. He looked at Kaylira. Change is hard, but it's not wrong. When we help each other, we grow stronger. That's all I wanted. That's all I still want. The crowd was silent. Then they clapped. A deep, steady rhythm of hands and hearts. Later, Kaylira and Jason walked through the quiet gardens behind the plaza. The sky above was dark, full of stars. Flowers glowed with soft light. It was peaceful. Kaylira turned to him. The accord is no longer just between us. It is part of our people now. Jason smiled. I never imagined this. When I joined the medical post, I thought I would fix small wounds and deliver supplies. She laughed softly. Instead, you started a new age. Jason looked serious. What happens now? Will everything stay peaceful? Kaylira nodded slowly. There will still be problems. Change always brings resistance. But now we have something stronger than fear. We have hope. A few days later, Jason received a message from Earth. The Council of Human Worlds had heard of the events. They wanted him to return to speak to share, to help build a path forward between species. Jason wasn't sure. This place had become a second home. But Kaylira encouraged him. You must go, she said. You are the bridge now. We will build something together, even across the stars. They traveled to the Darnek spaceport. Many came to say goodbye. Some gave gift stones, fabrics, tokens of respect. Jason was touched. He thanked them all with simple words. Before he stepped onto the ship, Kaylira handed him a small crystal. This holds a memory of our bond. When you feel alone, hold it. Jason held it close. I'll return. I'll be waiting. The ship rose from the ground and entered the sky. Jason looked down at the world he helped change. He remembered the first time he saw it from space strange and distant. Now it felt like a part of him. Back on Earth, Jason spoke before leaders, students, and scientists. He shared the story how a small act of kindness became something bigger. He spoke of Kaylira, of the Accord, of trust and courage. People listened. Plans were made. A new program was started to build friendship between humans and Darnak. Jason helped lead it. He worked to bring minds and hearts together. Slowly, a new path formed one of peace. One evening, Jason stood outside his home on Earth. He looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, Kaylira was watching the same sky. He held the crystal she gave him. It glowed softly in his hand. He smiled. A human and a warrior. 2 lives changed by one act. And from that act came rewards. Beyond anything he had ever imagined.